welcome back to Tommy's World. You already know it's your girl Tommy, and I am back with another video. So in today's video, I'm gonna tell you guys how I got robbed in America just like a month and a half before moving to Japan. It was a mess, and I am just here to give you guys all the deets. Okay, so to tell you the story time, I'm gonna have to like go back, all the way back. Because we're gonna start in about April of 2018. So if you are applying for JET, or if you are a JET already, or if you know anything about the JET program, then you know that the application process is like really long. So you apply in about November. I did my interview in about January, and in April we were still waiting to know the results of the interview, whether I would be coming to Japan or not. So I was like, okay, your girl's gotta secure the bag because we're thinking about our future. I'm just leaving college, and I'm like, okay, if I don't get into JET, what's gonna be my plan B? So there's this program that we do in Jamaica. It's called the J1 program. It's not just in Jamaica, it's like all around the world, because I met people on this program from like Thailand. And it's just basically this program where as a college student, you're allowed to work in America for 3 months, which is basically your summer vacation, 3 to 4 months, I think. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna apply for this program, so in case JET doesn't work out, at least I would get to work for the summer and make some money to help pay off my student loans, because I love my country, but Jamaica was not made for young professionals, okay? So I applied for that program, and the lady on the program was like, I don't know if I can find a position for you because this is like really last minute and stuff. This was not in April, by the way. This was a while back, like March. Oh yeah, it's just a month before. She's like, I don't know if I can find a position for you because it's really last minute. But I was going with her for a while. Like, I had been on this program like 3 times already. So she knew that, you know, she had to look out for me. This was customer loyalty. I've been doing this with you for a really long time. Fast forward to basically back in April. I was with my friend in the library one night, and I got my email from JET, and I was like, oh my god, I can't open this. So I asked my friend to open it, and of course I got in. You guys knew that. Big whoop, I'm already here. And like 30 seconds later, I got my email from the lady, and she was like, oh, I found you a placement in America, so you can go and do this program. So I'm like, oh wow, I secured like 2 bags in the space of a minute, but it was kind of stressing me out because I'm like, how am I gonna manage both of these? Then I kind of took a step back, and I'm like, well, I need money to go to Japan anyway, so I'm gonna do this program first, and then I'm gonna use the money that I make from it to go to Japan. So I was planning to come back from this program like 2 weeks before it was time for me to go to Japan, because, you know, I was gonna make some money, because you need at least like $3,000 for startup capital to come to Japan. So I was kind of stressed out by all of this, and at this time I was thinking to myself, like, I need a vacation, because I left straight from high school July 2014, entered college August 2014. Every summer in college, I had to work to make sure that I could pay at least a portion of my school fees so I could go back to school. So I'm like, nah, girl, I need a vacation. I cannot keep doing this, okay? So I have an aunt who lives in, at the time she lived in Washington, and I messaged her and I was like, hey, would you mind if I came over and spent a couple days? And I explained the situation, that I would be working in New Jersey, so I just wanted to get a little vacation time. And she is really cool. Like, she's one of those people, like the first time I went to stay with her, she was like, oh, do you want to go skydiving? No. She's really cool. If you're watching this, I love you. So she's like, yeah, come over, we'll get stuff done and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I needed. So I went over, I went to the States, and I stopped at my aunt's. I was gonna spend a week. It was an amazing week. We were doing so much stuff. So the day before I was supposed to go over to New Jersey, we decided that we were gonna go to Dave & Buster's, and we were gonna go to an escape room. But we did the we were gonna do the escape room thing first. So we jumped in the car and we were on our way, and then my aunt was like, wait, do you have your ID? And I'm like, no, I don't. And she's like, never leave the house without your ID. You need your ID. So we turned around, went back to the house, and I grabbed my passport, put it in the bag, and we were off. We went to the escape room. We lost, by the way. And then I was just I was like, okay, maybe we should just go back home. I don't know, like, I didn't really feel this vibe to go anywhere, but my aunt had already secured the tickets for Dave & Buster's because she was on like Groupon and she got these coupons and we were gonna go and get a pass, and she was like, it's gonna be lit. And I'm like, okay, fine, let's do it, because, you know, at that time I was like 20 and I was doing it for the gram. I just wanted people to think that I was doing the most and I was having fun. To be 20 again. Anyway, we decided that we were gonna go to Dave & Buster's. So we went to Dave & Buster's and we were having an amazing time. This was like my second time at Dave & Buster's, but actually my first time playing the games and stuff. And we were having such a great time. So we saw this little basketball court. The game was basically that you had to shoot as many shots as you could in about 60 seconds, I think. It was a minute. So we're like, yeah, no one was playing that game. That should have been our first hint, actually. But both my aunt and I love sports. So, you know, it was a no-brainer. So we went over. There was this table beside us, and my aunt pulled the table closer, and we both had, like, wristless...
2,000 years later.
Wristlet purses. Oh, my God, I'm such an idiot. We both had wristlet Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'll just insert a picture. So we didn't want that to like bother our wrists, because, you know, you need to have the flick of the wrist. What the hell is this? Okay, so we put our purses on the table and pulled it closer to us. And we were there shooting, and my aunt was winning. She's so much better than me. Anyway, the game was over. 60 seconds. That was it. 60 seconds. We looked beside us, our purses were gone. I remember my aunt's first words were, "This must be a joke." And then we were looking on the ground. We were just trying to see where the purses were. There were no purses, guys. We started walking around in the Dave & Buster's looking for the purses, because we were like, wait, what just happened? It was so quick, our minds couldn't really process it. So when we finally decided that, okay, someone stole these purses, we went up to the counter and we were like, oh, someone stole our purses. We were looking around and we saw a lot of people, but we didn't want to be like a Karen and be like, oh, you stole my purse because you're black or something. You know, we didn't want to racial profile anyone because we were black. That would be just weird. So we went up to the counter and we were like, someone stole our purses. You need to help us. So the guy was like, where were you? So we showed him and he's like, oh. I'm like, what's that supposed to mean? So we asked him if he could pull up the camera so we could check real quick. And I was telling him that I need my purse because I'm not a citizen of America, and my passport was in my bag along with my phone, which was really important. My aunt had like her cards in her bag, which was also important, and we just had a lot of stuff in our bag. We're women.
He's like, we can't just pull up the security cameras for any little thing.
This was not any little thing, sir. Someone just stole my damn purse up in your store. Pull up these security cameras. Anyway, he said he couldn't do that, so he lent us his phone to call the police. And then this police guy came in, and he looked like a fake police. Do you know, like those mall cops? Yeah, that's how he looked. And the whole thing was just shady. He came in and he said he couldn't take us back with him to see the camera, so he would just check it. Went in for like 30 seconds, then he came back out and he was like, okay, so I got bad news. The place where your bags were, where you were playing the basketball game, that was a blind spot, which means there was no camera action in that particular spot. I'm like, seriously? Out of everywhere where there could be a blind spot, it's right there. I mean, seriously? So at this time, me and my aunt were frustrated. We were wondering what we were supposed to do, because I was supposed to be going over to Jersey the next day, y'all. So we started walking around the mall. We were searching all the garbage cans, seeing if the person would just take the money and the phones and just throw the purse away with my passport and stuff. But obviously not, because this was America and they don't do regular robberies. They're stealing your whole identity. So my passport was nowhere to be found. We started walking around in the Dave and Buster's asking people if they had seen a purse, and we were describing it. We were asking them if they saw anybody walking away with it. No one saw anything. And just to clarify, where we were playing the basketball was like right here, and then there was like a restaurant right beside it. So people were there and no one saw anything. At this time, my aunt was like, you know what, let's just go. The good thing was that my aunt had her keys for her car around her neck on like this string thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'll insert a picture. I don't know how to describe it. So we went to the car, and before I get to that, my aunt used this guy's phone, the guy who gave us his phone, to like call the police. She used it to check her credit cards and kind of call them and close them down. You would not believe what this guy who stole my aunt's purse with her cards and stuff, or the person, the woman, whatever, they tried to buy an Xbox with my aunt's card. My aunt was so mad. She was like, if you stole my card and try to use it to buy some food, that I would understand. But how can you steal somebody's card and use it to buy an Xbox? I'm like, yo, I've never seen my aunt this mad. Me, I was so calm. When I get depressed, I can't do nothing. I was just there like,
yo, is this happening to me? Like, how much worse can my luck get right now?
anyway, we went to the car, and we had like this millennial problem. My aunt had no idea how to get home from where we were, because we used the GPS on her phone to get to this Dave and Buster's, and we did not know how to get back home. Yeah, that was crazy. But after some trial and error, we did end up finding our way back home. My aunt went on the computer and she started seeing how she could sort everything out. She's one of those persons who is like really go-getter. She's getting everything done. I went straight to bed. My aunt was shaken up. She couldn't sleep, so she had to do something else. But when I am in a position where like I'm stressed out, I gotta sleep. That's all I can do. I can't help with anything. Like, shock makes me tired. Also, eating makes me tired. Sleeping makes me tired. Talking about being tired makes me tired. Anyway, yeah. So I went to sleep. My aunt was like doing stuff. When I woke up in the morning, she's like, how can you sleep through all of this? I'm like, listen, I need to take a depression nap. I had to. There was no other choice for me. Anyway, she told me that she found a consulate for a Jamaican embassy in America, and we were gonna go there, and it opened at 9. So I couldn't catch my bus to go to Jersey that day, so we lost that money, which was also messed up because this person was putting our lives like in a whole ring around. So we lost that money, and we went to the embassy. They told me that I had to wait 3 weeks to get a passport. Then I was like, okay, cool. So the next day I had to go to Jersey because my aunt had a wedding to go to. So she was leaving. I couldn't stay at her house or anything. So I had to go to Jersey. So my aunt helped me out. She got me a ticket to go to Jersey, and I'm like, okay, cool. When I'm in New Jersey, I messaged the lady from the jet program. I'm like, I got robbed in America. I don't have my passport. What am I gonna do? Because at this time it was about May, and I was planning to work in America May, June, and leave mid-July. So that would give me like 2.5 months to make some money. She's like, well, you gotta come back to Jamaica because the flight that we're gonna take to Japan is gonna go through America, but I can't leave from America. That's a rule of the jet program. You gotta leave from the consulate where you got selected. So she said I had to come back to Jamaica because I had to get my American visa all over again, because you can't go through America without a visa as a Jamaican citizen. So at that time, I started to get so stressed out. I hadn't made any money. I was losing money. I had to call my aunt. I'm like, can you get me a ticket to go back to Jamaica? I went back to Jamaica at the beginning of June, which means I made no money. I worked in America for like 2 weeks, and then I had to leave to go back to Jamaica. All my friends who I had met in Jersey, they were like, no, stay, just let this jet program thing go on. Just make the best of this opportunity. I'm like, nah, y'all, this program is 3 months. Jet is gonna be like a year, which is more money when you think of it. So I had to go back home, and my passport wasn't ready in time, so they gave me like this white slip of paper, which was like a travel document. And because I booked my flight last minute, but we were still trying to get a good price, we had like connections. So I made my first two connections. Then my last connection was through Florida, I think. And no one in the airport knew what the document was that I was traveling with. And they were like, ma'am, I'm sorry, but you can't get on this plane today because we don't know what that is, and you need a passport to enter a foreign territory. I'm like,
Look at me. Do I look American? Me look like me American too. No more want me yard. Me not stay over here.
at this time I started to lose my mind, y'all. And when I get mad, like, my Creole comes out, and I'm like, this is not gonna work. I want to go to my yard. So I held up the plane in Florida for like an hour because everyone was calling around trying to see what they could do. I'm like, if you cannot find out what this is, then deport me. Deport me, because I don't live here and I'm not staying here. I need to go to my yard. So they finally found out what it was. I went back to Jamaica, and as you know, by this time I was losing so much money. I was losing money because I was going home. I didn't make any money in the States, basically. And the little money that I made, I had to use that to like run around Jamaica, because at this point I had to go back to the consulate in Kingston, Jamaica, trying to get my passport done again. And then I had to go to the embassy of America to get my visa, and the lady in the embassy denied my visa, even though I told her like I had a visa already. I just got robbed, and I showed her my police document. She's like, well, at this point you're a flight risk. It looks like you could run off in the States because you just graduated college. You don't got no man, no nothing. You don't have anything tying you to Jamaica. I'm like,
Y'all punishing me for being single and being a good child and not having like a teenage pregnancy?
but whatever, you know. So she said I had to get my visa from the Japanese embassy, which I was wondering why they didn't do that in the first place. So I got that visa, and I had to go back to the American embassy. But the lady at the Japanese embassy was like, this is taking too long. You're supposed to be leaving in a couple days. So she sent me to go to the Canadian embassy. I went to the Canadian embassy. By this time, I actually got back my visa from the US embassy. I got my 10-year visa, but I still had to go to the Canadian embassy because I had already started the application process. So then I got my 10-year visa. I got a transport visa from the Canadian embassy. Like, this sounds amazing, but remember that I had to be paying for all this. The only way I ended up coming to Japan was because my dad actually lent me like 200,000 Jamaican dollars, which was less than 2,000 US dollars. I came to Japan practically broke, basically. Yeah. But the thing is, guys, I did not give up. I decided that I was coming to Japan, but come hell or high water, because there was no way to like defer this. And I was gonna make it here, and I did. I'm on my 2nd year of jet now, and you know, I got rid of all these loans that I incurred over this period of time. And I'll tell you guys about that in my next video. So if you made it all the way here, thank you so much for watching. And just remember that anything is possible with Christ in the mix. Everything is already fixed. And if you want it bad enough, you can do it. Okay, guys? Remember to like, subscribe, comment. Just leave these videos with a lot of love. We're still on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye.